Oh, about those renewals, Mr. Neff, I talked to my husband about it.
Oh, you did?
Yes, he'll renew with you. He told me so. As a matter of fact, I thought he'd be here this afternoon.
But he's not.
No.
It's terrible.
We all know the feeling of going too far, getting a bit too involved, sinking in too deep. There are some things that just pull us in. Today we describe it as going down a rabbit hole. Platforms like Reddit are founded on this idea. But person-to-person obsession is something different. And sometimes it can lead to a restraining order, hypothetically. The tradition of film noir is chock full of this idea. Much of it is men being obsessed with women. And this episode's subject is no exception. One of the most classic examples is legendary writer-director Billy Wilder's Double Indemnity from 1944. Unlike so many films of its time, it has nothing to do with the war and everything to do with a very small group of very scheming people. Just two, in fact.
Suppose I let you off with a warning this time.
Suppose it doesn't take.
Suppose I have to whack you over the knuckles.
Suppose I bust out crying and put my head on your shoulder.
Suppose you try putting it on my husband's shoulder.
That tears it.
Bombshell and Brooklyn native Barbara Stanwyck plays one of the two, and the towering presence of Fred McMurray plays the second. She plays the wife of an oil man who convinces McMurray's insurance salesman to help her take out a life insurance policy on her husband, unbeknownst to him. And also to help create the outcome by which they'll get that payout of 50 grand. Stanwyck started as a Ziegfeld girl, and like many in her time, she was a model and dancer in addition to an actress. She worked with the greats, Frank Capra, Cecil B. DeMille, and she was known for being great to work with and friendly with her crews. You can sense an ease about her, an understated heat different than the big, brassy performances of her contemporaries. And her co-star, Fred McMurray, is someone I got to know from his run of old Disney films like The Shaggy Dog and The Absent-Minded Professor. It took me until adulthood to discover this classic, which plays much more prominently in his legacy, and in which his mind was undoubtedly present. Like me, he played the saxophone. And like me, he was never famous for it. It also includes the film noir colossus Edward G. Robinson, who originally declined the part since he'd be playing third fiddle. Even now, it watches a little strange, like using a Ferrari to drive around the block. But he plays a critical role, an audience surrogate helping maintain a rational and outsider's lens on the dangerous obsession at play. Obsession is a burning fire, and a fire looks different from different angles. Angles pop up aplenty in this classic. Consider one of the best scenes. In Phyllis's house near the start of the film, the camera strains upwards to capture her downward gaze as if off a cliff, a hint toward our modern film companion. And the crew used silver dust in the air to add atmosphere to that California sun, with a great shot by cinematographer John F. Seitz. Then we're in Walter's apartment, a dark, shadowy cave where the two main characters secure their entanglement. Obsession is best served close, with shafts of light that showcase just how dark the rabbit hole is. Light and lenses, that's the movies. And they're still at play in a very recent, understated masterpiece by fearless director Park Chan-wook, who gave us gems like Old Boy and The Handmaiden, and who brought to life a modern, layered, and mysterious look at obsession in 2022's Decision to Leave. This time, our leading man is a detective, not an insurance man. But there's also a dead husband and a mysterious woman, whom, like Stanwyck's Phyllis, we instantly identify as trouble. Starring the enigmatic Tang Wei as our leading lady, and the listless Park Hae-il as the obsessed detective, it's a modern take on the noir genre. Using a range of lenses, angles, reverse shots, layers, digital screens, split screens, one-way mirrors, hallways, winding streets, our perspective continually shifts across its 2-hour, riveting runtime. Consider the interrogation over lunch scene in the first act. 2 rooms, 4 people, an array of screens, a few reflections. It's a feat of cinematography that uses no green or LED screens, just a visionary director and a talented crew creating new imagery that immerses us in a kaleidoscopic story, orchestrated by Wook and the remarkable cinematography of DP Kim Ji-young. Like Double Indemnity, these filmmakers keep us close. Obsession is about the narrow, not the broad. It's also about our universal attraction to danger. What is it like to step outside the lines? How far can we go before people start to notice? What are our motives for giving into this desire? Boredom? Longing? Arousal? There are a few things these films have in common. First, subtitles will be your steadfast companion. With Double Indemnity, the Billy Wilder and Raymond Chandler script moves much faster than the 90 miles per hour that Phyllis mentioned, and you'll miss a lot of gems without them.
We've got a guy in our office named Keys. For him, a setup like that would be just like a slice of rare roast beef.
With Decision to Leave, unless you know Korean, they're a must.
저거 치마 스시 모듬 초밥이야?
And that adds to the experience. Obsession requires focus, obliterating distraction. Both films play with time, that befuddling tug of war between the present and the past. Both bring to life the human attraction to losing oneself into a pursuit of the unknown. Both tap into the very simple, universal urge to do the wrong thing. Both feature sexual tension without a frame of sex, and both feature femme fatales for whom the instance of deception we're watching is not their first time. The endings are where they diverge. In Double Indemnity, we stick close with the two male leads right in a small doorway. But in Decision to Leave, we pull back, observing Park Hae-il's detective wading into the stunningly beautiful South Korean coast at sunset, still searching. No screens, no hallways, just shoreline and crashing waves. To embark on this journey, start with anklets and iced tea. Then move ahead to cell phones and seasides. You'll be disappointed in that beautiful, obsessive way. Double Indemnity from 1944 and Decision to Leave from 2022. To the movies.